we're very excited because we have hometown advantage, and we're the only team from around here that's going to get to sleep in their own beds.
Resting at home in your own bed is the best and will hopefully help Bernie get a good night's sleep Thursday before they hoop Friday night in big board sports. It is Championship Tuesday at TMI, where the school celebrated the boys basketball team for winning the TAPS 5A state championship Saturday afternoon after beating Austin St. Michael's 54-46. Led by head coach and three-time NBA champion Bruce Bowen, the TMI boys basketball team won their first state title since 1961. The Panthers finished as state runner-up last season, so winning it all this season is extra sweet.
It feels awesome, after losing last year in state, we wanted to run it back, win again, and, we did so, which is awesome.
We set out a goal, state was the goal, and we tried our best to make it happen, and look where we're at now. We made it happen.
We had high goals and high everything for our team. There's high expectations. It doesn't surprise me that we won, but all the hard work and everything that we put into it definitely paid off, and it just means so much.
This championship makes 9 state titles and 7 state runner-ups for TMI sports in the last 4 years. Turning to girls basketball, we stopped by Bernie High School this morning where the Lady Greyhounds are getting ready for the UIL Class 4A state semifinals at the Alamo Dome. 2 seasons ago, they advanced to the state semis, but those games were held at different venues due to COVID. Now the girls will get to play ball at the Dome, and they're all very excited.
We've played in venues like that before my freshman year and just throughout the course of our season. So I think us being like juniors and seniors and us having that experience and that team never being there with any other team that they have is going to give us a leg up.
It's not different being on a big stage, but we're experienced enough, and playing in a big venue in front of a lot of people is something that we're not foreign to, and we're super excited.
Bernie is 35-1 and will face 32-5 Sunnyvale in the state semis Friday, 3 p.m. at the Alamo Dome. Now that the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo is over with, the Spurs Rodeo Road Trip will wrap up tonight at the Utah Jazz, the second of back-to-back games with the Salt Lake City club. The Spurs have dropped the franchise record 16 in a row, and after that loss to Utah on Saturday, Keldon Johnson said he loves this team and they will continue to play hard. Tip is tonight at 8. While San Antonio FC is working out and getting ready for the new USL Championship season, they can't help but to be excited for a friendly in July when they host legendary English side Sunderland AFC of the English Football League Championship. The squad is currently in position to advance to a playoff that could see them promoted to the Premier League. Their sporting director is in town and talked with the media today about bringing the club to San Antonio.
I think a lot of the European teams are always looking for new markets. They're always looking for players. They're always looking for talent. And I think obviously where you've got growth markets and you've got leagues that are progressing, naturally there's going to be players in those leagues and they're going to be potentially available for trade. And it's a competitive marketplace in Europe and it's a competitive marketplace across the world. And I think we're always seeking to try to find players that we think can connect and integrate into obviously our league.
That exhibition match is Saturday, July 15th, and Sunderland's only Texas stop of a national tour.
Is Ted Lasso their coach?
Right?
No, it's Richmond.
That's Richmond, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just Sunderland, Richland, I got it.
Our KSAT Q&A is up next. From the San Antonio airport plans to streets to a dog problem in San Antonio. Lots to talk about with Mayor Ron Nierenberg, who joins us for today's KSAT Q&A. Mayor, thanks as always for being here with us on Tuesdays. You know what happened last week that we covered here? An awful attack. Couple of dogs killing a man in his 80s, stray dogs. And we have heard from so many viewers who say this is an issue they deal with in their neighborhoods, either aggressive or stray dogs. What can the city do about it? So we asked some viewers for questions that they had. We want to pose some of those to you. One of them is this: has the city ever considered requiring permits for so-called aggressive breeds? That coming from a viewer this evening.
Yeah, well, first of all, our prayers continue to be with the Nahara family after this really devastating tragedy. And of course, this is a tragedy that should never happen. So very quickly, we obviously ask ourselves what could have been done. I will say that I remember in one instance, a very short-lived conversation about aggressive breed permits writ large for particular breeds. Obviously, people think of pit bulls, but those get quashed down pretty quickly. The city of San Antonio has one of the largest open intakes for shelters, and we deal with aggressive dogs calls all the time. I think we've had 1,000 calls already on aggressive animals. The challenge is, in order for a dog to be deemed dangerous, there has to be a written affidavit filed by a witness to an unprovoked act of violence. So, with these particular dogs that were involved in this mauling last week, there were prior incidents noted, but there wasn't an official affidavit. So those dogs were never deemed dangerous in the sense that we could seize them without an incident. So unfortunately, because of state law, they were returned to the owner after quarantine, and it's private property, and this owner did not exhibit responsibility for his animals, and they were let loose, and this is what happens. So it is a tragedy. We are going to need some assistance from state leaders to fix the loopholes that allow this kind of thing to happen.
And I want to get back. We've got a couple more questions from our viewers that they've sent in for you, Mr. Mayor. But I want to just ask the question about, it strikes me that can we hold owners more responsible in this whole thing? Because, I mean, we're talking about animals here. We're talking about animals that need care, need training. And a lot of times if that's not done properly. Can we hold owners more responsible in all this?
We should. And, I am hopeful that we can, all of us, state and local leaders can take a look at these laws and identify where the gaps are that would allow us better tools to seize animals who have been aggressive, who have been violent, and whose owners don't take care of them. Already if a dog is deemed dangerous and those affidavits are filed and it's returned home, the dog is required to be spayed and neutered. They were in this case. You have to have a special license. You also have to have liability insurance, but most importantly, signs need to be posted, and they need to be restrained at all times onto the onto the owner's property. So, in this case, the dogs were let loose, and because there wasn't a previous affidavit signed, we were not able to seize that animal before the attack. So, I'm hopeful that more tools can be identified that would allow us to seize dangerous animals before attacks can occur.
We did get a comment from a viewer, not necessarily a question, but somebody questioning whether the law that the city passed that prohibits the chaining of dogs outside, does that really go towards a detriment of keeping potentially dangerous dogs contained or tied up, not able to, access sidewalks, anybody who's passing by. I'm curious if in your conversations with other city leaders, with ACS since this happened, any solutions that have floated to the top for you, anything that you would like the city council to consider?
That restraint, the law that prohibits chaining of animals on property is actually at the state level as well. So this is, a state and local issue that we've got to solve together. What I think would be very helpful, the affidavit has to be signed by a witness to a violent act. Oftentimes, ACS is called because neighbors are fearful of the animals, and they're also, frankly, fearful of the owners who have those animals. And so if ACS had the legal right to file an affidavit to be a witness to an event, that would be very helpful. In this case, ACS responds, but if they're not actually a witness to an event, they cannot follow through and restrain or take the animal from the owner.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I want to move on quickly to the airport. $20 million, I believe, in funding was approved by the FAA from the federal government to San Antonio to start the process of the new terminal. Is that enough, or where is the rest of the money going to come from?
So this is a long process, and the application that was approved, the proposal that received $20 million in FAA funding was one aspect of a larger plan. Obviously, we are going through a major redevelopment of the San Antonio International Airport. It's massive. New terminal, runways, ground loading facilities, ingress, egress, the roadways outside of the airport are going to change. And all this, again, is funded through FAA funds as well as airline fees. It's not local taxpayer dollars. So we are going to continue to apply for funds at every cycle. This is good news. This is the largest FAA grant we've received in many, many years. So this is going to enable us to continue on track, on schedule with the ground loading facility, which is just one aspect of the larger plan. But we're going to be back at it at every cycle, filling in those proposals to bring more of those dollars back home to San Antonio.
Mayor Ron Nierenberg, always appreciate your time. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. The head of the EPA is back in East Palestine, Ohio, where officials opened a community center to help the residents affected by the toxic train accident.
This comes as people in that area continue to raise concerns about symptoms they're experiencing in the aftermath. The administrator of the EPA says the community center there will help people sign up for home monitoring, as well as answer any questions they might have. Ohio installed 3 water monitoring wells to check if the groundwater is contaminated. But state and federal officials say that testing is showing no signs of contamination in the air or the water system.
The cleanup is going forward. A lot of the water has already been removed. We're still removing some of the hard material.
Meanwhile, pressure mounting on the rail company to take financial responsibility for the accident. The EPA says they are working out where to put hazardous waste because there are a lot of places right now that are saying they're not going to take it.
Back here at home, look outside with live cam. Maybe talking about some fog while we wait on this cold front?
Yeah, I think so. I think with increasing humidity tonight, we'll have another kind of misty morning tomorrow with areas of fog and reduced visibility for the morning commute. But this evening, we had a beautiful sunset. Right now we're at 81 degrees, just gradual temperature drop, 9 o'clock, 75. Midnight, we're at 67. No jacket required tomorrow morning. Mid-60s, just a little foggy and drizzling, a bit damp. We do have record-challenging heat on the way tomorrow. We'll talk about how hot and where, along with our next cold front and what kind of changes that's going to bring in just a bit.
Got a couple of things to watch over the next few days, and timing always important, Adam.
Yeah, and get ready for more wind.
Yes, and I'm focusing on Thursday late afternoon and Thursday night. That's when you'll really notice the wind and some of our highest non-thunderstorm wind gusts that we've seen this season. And by the way, season tomorrow, March 1st, marks the beginning of meteorological spring. To meteorologists, March, April, May constitutes spring, and that's how we do our record keeping. And by the way, this winter, despite a few cold snaps, is coming in way above average temperature wise. Tomorrow, our first 90-degree day likely, and by the way, that would be a record high by 1 degree should we hit 90, and that verifies. And then by Friday, and Thursday similar, then by Friday, about a 20-degree drop and becoming very windy in that transition. Let's talk about our rain chances though. We'll get into the winds in a moment. I want to talk about our rain chances. Not the best opportunity for rain, but we do have a 20% chance now of a few showers and thunderstorms popping up Thursday late afternoon and into the evening. So you look at our pattern, most of the actions across the northern tier of the country, even New England, and then of course West Coast, same system we were talking about yesterday, slowly swirling over the Pacific Northwest and pulling in a lot of moisture into California and the Rocky Mountains. It's going to be another good event for ski resorts in the Rockies and even the southern Rockies. We're talking areas of New Mexico included. For us, most of the moisture is going to be east. We're talking East Texas, Oklahoma, up north into the plains, and even Arkansas and Missouri. Around here, there is the chance as the cold front moves through Thursday at about 5 p.m. that we could have a few thunderstorms pop up. We give that a 20% chance. Slightly higher odds as you go east of San Antonio with better conditions to develop those thunderstorms. And should we see some of those storms develop even east of town Thursday afternoon and early evening, there is the chance that some of them could become strong to severe with straight line winds and maybe even some large hail. But again, that's east of San Antonio. We only have about a 20% chance around here. The big story will be the wind, and the wind will be shifting out of the west-northwest behind that cold front. So by Thursday, 8 p.m., our winds coming in basically from the hill country and West Texas, and we'll likely have some gusts between 50 and 60 miles per hour. Not for everybody, but parts of our area are likely to see that, including the hill country, maybe even Uvalde, as shown here by this computer model, possibly a 61 mile per hour gust. But it's going to be very, very gusty. These are the non-thunderstorm wind gusts lasting through Thursday night and really starting to taper off by about noon on Friday. Look at the futurecast for 11 p.m. Thursday, 50 miles per hour in Converse. Of course, this is just one computer model, but they're all in agreement that we're going to see some high gusts. Exactly how high and where will vary a bit that evening, but be prepared for the gusts in excess of 50 miles per hour for a period of time Thursday evening and Thursday night. Let's talk temperatures. 80s for a good portion of our area. 82 Stinson, 81 at the airport. In time you get into the hill country, we're in the 70s. By tomorrow morning, 66 degrees. Areas of fog. See that 10% chance? It's just a little bit of drizzle, a little bit of mist, and nothing meaningful. By noon, we'll start to see the sun again. 82 degrees at that point. And then we're forecasting a high of 90, which would be a new record high for the day by 1 degree. But even warmer down in Cotulla, 95 along with Carrizo Springs and Crystal City. 90 in Hondo, 93 Uvalde. We're feeling the warmth and feeling basically the early spring heat come tomorrow. Thursday, the same. Morning fog, 90 degrees with afternoon sunshine. But Thursday by 5 o'clock, expect those changes to begin. The wind to start ramping up, and Thursday evening and Thursday night, that wind is going to be the headline. But notice the weekend. Mornings in the 40s, afternoons upper 70s, low humidity and sunshine.
I'm just looking at the next 2 days. I'm wondering if the city pools are going to open.
Be nice if they did.
I don't know if we're there yet.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Cold conditioning.
Still to come here, to some, boxing might look violent, but to others, it's a way to teach discipline. How a local gym is using that skill to try to keep kids out of danger.
A local boxing ring filled with kids hoping to take a shot at a strong future.
They train at a West Side boxing gym, and the goal here is to give them a new passion and a new purpose.
Max Massey gives us an inside look at the facility, the athletes, and the mission.
I've had 18 amateur fights. I've only lost 5 of those. I'm a pro now, so I have 5 fights professionally.
Meet Devaney, a now professional boxer training here at the Anceres boxing team facilities. Devaney tells me she sees the impact that boxing has on her and has on her fellow athletes.
You know, with boxing, it's all about discipline, all about staying focused, in school and whatever you do, so that's how it's helped me.
Right now, Alex, the owner of these facilities, he teaches up to 35 students across the community, and these students are thriving.
I actually have a #1 ranked in the United States. I got #3 and #6 and #7, so they're getting out there. I just wish that I could actually do more for them.
And Alex tells me what these students learn in the ring, it means so much more for life outside of it.
Honestly, to help out kids, get these kids out of the streets for sure. I know when I was young, there was just so much out there. I think it's still worse nowadays with everything going on. So overall, just to help out the community as much as I can.
But it's not easy. Alex says practices don't even start until he's done with his daytime job.
Now with the full class, literally we're leaving almost at 10 o'clock almost every day.
And the program is heavily reliant on sponsorships and donations.
I know we're limited to sources, so any sponsorship would greatly be appreciated to get these kids out there.
As for Devaney, she has big plans right around the corner.
My fight March 11th, and I want to become a world champion at some point, so that's the goal right now.
Max Massey, KSAT12 News.
Well, we were talking earlier about a nice sunset taking shape. We received a few photos, especially from Cotulla. Some nice shots down in Cotulla. This one's my favorite right there. God's handiwork. That's right. Looking beautiful out there this evening, at least moments ago before the sun fully set. Morning fog tomorrow and Thursday. Look at that, near 90 the next couple of days. Spring-like warmth. But then temperatures get reset Friday through the weekend. Very windy tomorrow night. Thursday night. Get ready.
Thursday night. Thanks for watching.
See you at 10.